Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Troy Allen Galat. Welcome to Trigger Time TV, brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to start today's show off, Steve Fisher's off to Pascagoula, Mississippi, where he's going to demonstrate less than ideal shooting positions.
Hey guys, Steve Fisher from Sentinel Concepts back here in Pascagoula, Mississippi with Trigger Time TV. Today we're going to be talking about shooting from less than ideal positions. These are not necessarily positions that we want to find ourselves in. What happens is generally we end up in a fight, or we slip, trip, and fall. We end up sitting back on our ass, or we end up in several other positions that we'll talk about, such as supine and left and right side prone. All right, I'll kind of walk you through each of these. So as you'll see, we end up seated down. We end up in a seated position. Pretty simple. But then what we find ourselves is knocked down to the ground to our back. You notice my legs aren't up. All right, problem with this is I lose situational awareness and visibility. The only time I want these legs to come up is if I have to switch positions and I have to drive from my hips. So here, I'm able to crawl and move myself into a position of advantage depending on where the threat is coming from. The whole premise here is to get out of a square range training mentality and actually train for fights that actually do occur in the real world. So from here, and I find myself going to a rollover position to the right side. Now, as I come over to the left, I need to make sure gun has priority of position before my body goes anywhere else. What happens is guys have a tendency to try to throw their body over quickly and then the gun follows. What happens with that is the gun ends up tracking through body parts that we don't necessarily need to cover. So for me, the gun goes, body goes. If I need to come back in, gun goes, come back over. If I need to hit the reload, get to the cover garment. So what happens is when we find ourselves knocked down, necessarily to our side, to our back, or we start getting rolled into combatives, we still need the gun highly accessible, generally from an appendix carry position. If we're carrying in other positions, it's a lot more difficult to get that gun accessed when we end up on our back. And that's where all fights go. We know this factually. We end up on our back, and that's not where we want to be. So finding a way to carry the gun that's easily accessible in a combative situation, well, it will allow you fast accessibility to the gun and allowing you to present the gun in a quick, efficient manner in a close range combatives. If I end up down here, person's directly on top of me, I can press the gun. Then ideally we want to fight our way back up to the standing position, or at least to a kneeling, get a situational assessment. If we have to, we press off, work our way back up. Out of ammo. So in general, you need to get yourself out of just standing on the range and shooting, start training for realistic scenarios such as being knocked down. It could be a slip, trip, and fall. It could be we're knocked to the ground. Anytime you find yourself not standing, it's generally a good idea to get in that position on the range, try it out, train for it. It's the only way you're going to know how you're going to perform once you are there.
Trigger Time TV is brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters, LUCID Optics, Bravo Company USA, NEMO Arms, American Tactical, Crisis Application Group, Century Arms, Silencer Co., Primary Weapon Systems, Turigicon, Mayflower Research and Consulting, Atlantic Marksman Precision, and Total Ammo.